the institution of private property or ownership
Yes.
of a, let's just say, a piece of capital asset
Right.
that would be a means by which income could be distributed, is that to be eliminated, or is it to be understood one big cooperative, a Mondragon on large steroids?
All that language.
Or how are we going to relate to those issues, if you understand?
Absolutely, I absolutely understand. What we're looking at in the future is an open source world.
Okay.
Where the public.
That comes out of cybernetics, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the idea of sharing everything. All knowledge specifically. So there's no proprietary knowledge. You go on the internet and see all the designs that are happening, and you can contribute. Because if you think about it, there's
open source is beautiful.
There's no such thing as property. Property is something that we've conjured up for the scarcity management. I don't really own anything. I don't. As I said earlier, the intellectual thing that made your stopwatch there, you didn't invent that. Therefore, you can't physically own the idea. And
they tried to through trademark.
Oh, of course they tried, but that's false.
And that's intellectual property rights.
Of course, which is
all
nonsense.
But that's part of the world order.
This one, absolutely.
Yeah, the way it is.
But in the truth of the matter is there's no such thing as property. You can't own anything physical. It's not really connected. And I would suggest philosophically we don't even own ourselves. It's in other words, in the broad scheme, over the course of long-term synergetic evolution, life and death, and the exchange of knowledge and sharing of information, every single word that is coming out of my mouth is learned. So I don't really own my ideas. I don't. Everything I'm talking to you right now isn't really me. I'm just the embodiment of all the information, all the experience that I've had synergetically come into me.
And so is everyone.
And coming back to coming back to the property notion, we live in an access society. And that's what I think is the most beautiful concept.
Spell it out.
An access society, in the context of what the Zeitgeist movement promotes, is that everything is accessed, nothing is owned, and you can share everything through existing systems, created systems that are designed to allow people to have access to automobiles and everything that you'd ever need in an abundance, but they don't need to have it and hoard it. So I'm a filmmaker. I have lots of film equipment. I don't really want to own it, but I need to because of the resale value. You know. So if I rent something that's $200 and I rent it 5 times, I pay $1,000. I might have been able to just buy that thing for $1,000, and I could have it to resell for a slightly less percentage. But in an access society, there's no need for the monetary value. Therefore, no one has to hoard anything. So I would just go to a library, and I would get the camera.
Public library.
You could call it a library of instruments, a library of goods, a library of cars. It's simply a reservoir that's been statistically calculated to have everything that that region demands and needs in an abundance for access.